Mark Kurian.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me on the Spirit Farm podcast. Mark Kurian, the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only, the man with 10,000 friends.
10,426.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that it's been proven statistically that the average human can only maintain about 200 relationships? You defy the odds, and I want to talk about your fancy friends.
Okay.
I want to talk about the magazine that you run. I want to talk about all those things. But first, you and I have been friends for 17 years now.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It's a long time to be friends with me.
Let me tell you, I didn't tell you this. I got my sainthood.
You guys are saying
yes,
because of
the church called me and they were like, "Listen, you have been friends with Caleb Anderson for how long?" Okay, Jesus, Mark Kurian.
Mark.
So yes.
So we go way back. We met back in the day, and when I met you,
Didn't it feel like 5 actual lifetimes? Like we've lived 5 different total lives since then.
Yeah. Well, I have in my lifetime, I've had to start over.
Yeah.
Like 3 different times.
Well, and I feel like the same for me. Like when we first met, I was just out of school working at, I think, a restoration hardware.
Yeah.
And then I started a corporate job. Then I moved to San Francisco. And then I came back and had the magazine.
Yeah.
So it's like we've kind of gone through these. But I think that's
Iterations
what happens
of-
when you go from your early 20s to, now 70.
It's natural. Yeah. There's all kinds of these cycles. Let's jump in with the magazine first, because we hit on that a little bit. You started Beverly Hills Lifestyle Magazine.
Yes, with my mother.
What was the impetus of that? What was the inspiration for that?
So the magazine started as an online magazine that my mom started. And when she started it, she started this on, and it was the cheesiest thing I've ever seen.
No offense, Mom.
No, full offense. Like, full offense. So when you went onto the website, it was these gates that opened up, and it was like, Beverly Hills Lifestyle. Like, it was so cheesy. So she was like, well, then take it. Do whatever you want with it. So I started the magazine, and everyone...
And brought it into hard copy form.
Hard copy.
Yeah. It's beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we'll throw
Where
a
is
photo
it?
on or something like that.
Do you have it?
Well, you were supposed to bring it.
Oh, I'm supposed to bring it. The owner of the magazine's supposed to
We'll
bring
throw
it.
the latest edition on digitally.
We will. It's actually our first couple on the cover ever.
Oh, really?
So,
who's the couple?
Tommy and Dee Hilfiger.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Truly the most amazing 2 people you ever, like,
Why? Why? What makes them amazing?
They are humble. They are so in love. They care most about the things that I think are most important.
A couple
like
of
it's
examples.
Family first. They have 3 children on the spectrum.
What does that mean?
Autism.
They're all 3 on the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
Wow.
So family is first for them. And then they recognize how important it is for them to be together. They do things together. They're the people that, like when people make a ton of money or win the lottery and you're like, oh, why do they have to? You want them to be successful.
Huh.
They're just the most kind people you'll ever meet. And
so
wonderful.
They're on the cover of a recent edition of the magazine. How does that happen? Like, how does
It's
Mark
usually
Kurian...
just personal relationships. So, like, I met Dee Hilfiger 2 years ago through our fashion editor, Kristin Chenoweth, and had her in the magazine. And when I got to meet her, I mean, like, we met at their home in New York, and she just was the magazine's all about celebrating people, celebrating the triumph of the human spirit. Like, that's the reason I started the magazine.
I've heard you say that before. So celebrating the triumph of the human spirit. What does that mean? And why are you so passionate about that concept?
Because I think that if we as humans could just be more kind, if we could celebrate people more than tear people down, I think we'd live in obviously we'd live in a better world.
Yeah. So you started the magazine to focus on the triumph of the human spirit. So like the good in people. It's not just about fanciness and
I
brands.
started the magazine because I wanted to celebrate people. I wanted to give people a platform, and I wanted to create a platform to be able to do great things. for that message to get out, I realized I needed to hoodwink people a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, pretty lights, pretty cars, pretty,
Mm-hmm.
And I love luxury too. I mean, who doesn't love luxury? It's fun to read about and see and all that. So I knew that I wanted to do that, but if I ever lost the heart of what Beverly Hills Lifestyle is, I wouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if you open the magazine, you're going to read stories that truly like celebrate the power of what so many of these people have actually done.
Yeah. So the Hilfigers are an example of,
oh my gosh, they're amazing.
Just incredible people. Name a couple of other people that you have been just presently surprised by. Like, these people are the real deal. I am so pumped that I get to be friends with them or put them in the magazine.
Well, like for me, Kristin Chenoweth, who is a Broadway actress and also an actress on TV and movies, she was a huge kind of aha moment for me. She's probably one of my favorite people we've ever had on the cover. I've loved every cover, but her specifically. So she is a devout believer in Jesus, loves the Lord, loves Jesus. But also she was the first person to kind of really look at me and see me for who I was and kind of go, I know you love Jesus, but Jesus also loves you because you're gay. And that was the first time I ever had like a believer say that to me. And so she really changed my life. And, I don't see her a ton. I randomly text or I'll see her at a show or whatever. But every time, like, she doesn't realize how much of an impact she had, because for the first time ever, I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm loved for exactly who I am.
So when you had that encounter with Kristin, you were in what kind of a place?
I was in the closet. I was very afraid of the ramifications of coming out of the closet, not because of my family. I knew my family. My mom knew the day I was born I was gay. Like, when even I had a C-section, I was like, I'm out. So.
But where was the fear? Where was the concern?
The church. My church friends. The people that I thought were my number one supporters. And then coming to the realization that they weren't. Which is okay, But
you grew up going to church in Orange County.
Yeah.
You had friends that were going there, so you went there because your parents didn't necessarily go.
No. It was just like an extracurricular activity originally for me to go to, and then I really connected and really felt loved and really felt all those things. Was definitely, I led a small group for 8 years, and I worked, went to Mexicali, did all the mission trips to, praise the Lord Jesus, But I don't think I ever really had that full understanding of what it meant to have Jesus love you and how powerful words are and how, I think that's why I love the magazine as well, not to kind of go back and forth, but we were talking about this yesterday or 2 days ago, where, in the Bible, it says, in the beginning, there was darkness, and then there was the Word. And the Word is what created everything we know. And it's the same Word that we have access to. So to know that I have access to these words that I'm putting on paper, print, and to know that there's such power in it, and to know that, and now going back to the church, those words that are being ingrained in your head, whether you know it or not, there's power in them.
Yeah, God spoke everything into being. He created us in his image as co-creators.
Through
our words have power. When we speak.
And for us to have the audacity to believe that we don't have the power through our word. Yeah. I mean, words stick to the walls. They stick to us. They stick,
they play like tapes in people's minds.
100%. No, but words are powerful. Yeah. They are powerful.
Yeah.
And
what are some of the negative words that either do or used to ring in your head that kind of reinforced the I can't come out deal? Or just reinforced insecurity in general?
I think it's funny because I think the most detrimental words for anyone are people that tease each other, like in joke, in jest. But guy, those stick with you, right? Because I used to be 120 pounds heavier.
You were 120 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
So
I probably, honestly, I would not have fit in this chair.
That's not true.
No, honestly.
I knew you then.
But the way I wouldn't have been able to.
Okay.
Do you think I could have?
Yeah. But I understand what you're saying.
I would have filled up this chair.
You were twice as big.
Twice as big.
Yeah, you were twice as big.
No, so I mean, the power of the word is a really powerful thing. And you do remember it. I mean, I remember things that teachers said to me when I was in second grade.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, people, like, if you actually held on to the belief that words were as powerful as they were, you wouldn't say half the things you say.
You know how parents tell their kids when their kids are like, and we're like, use your words, little Jack.
Yeah.
Use your words, little Johnny. Use your words. I've picked up on that, and I use that as a whole teaching tool. It's like, how are you using your words, adult? How are you using your words? Are you using it for good or for bad? For light or for darkness? Are you scarring people, or are you creating beautiful things?
Yeah.
So you're creating beautiful things with your words through the magazine.
Yeah.
How else are you intentional? Have you started to retrain your language for how you talk about yourself and to other people? Or
I mean, it's a constant struggle. Like, but I think one thing I've recognized more than anything is that the things you tell yourself are the things you truly believe in yourself.
they reinforce, like it ingrains
100%.
it. Yeah.
And I'm not into this, but like The Secret, it makes sense. What you're putting out there is what you're focusing on.
Yeah.
So it's like if you tell a kid, don't do that, don't do that, don't, no.
Yeah.
What are they hearing? They're hearing no.
It's the same
If
principle.
you're instead saying, go do this, enjoy this, experience this, what are those kids going to do? They're going to enjoy, experience, and love that.
Well, I played a lot of sports growing up, and just imagine you're not a big sports aficionado.
Oh, I love the footy balls.
But if you can just go with me on this analogy, playing basketball, you have a shot to take. It's like the end of the game. There's so much pressure on it.
You got to score that goal.
Well, what you don't say is don't miss, because then you're focusing on missing.
Yeah.
Right? You say, I'm going to make this. I'm going to make this. I'm going to make this. I'm going to hit this shot, right? So you focus on the positive. That's what you want playing in your brain. And it's the similar principle, right?
I mean, listen, I don't have any experiences of this. I don't have any whatever. But I do know that when I decided finally in my head to lose weight, that was the only thing I needed. And that's a problem. People, until they make that decision, you're not going to lose weight.
Okay, but we need more on that because people...
Wow. I'm not giving you any more.
People think that they're making a decision, but help us. Where does it switch over from I want to lose weight, I want to try this new diet, to I made a decision? Like
it's not that.
How is that?
It's a different message. It's not I want to lose weight. It's not I want to do a diet. Those aren't the ways. You can think that 1,000 times and you do the diet and you're fine.
Right.
It's I want to make a lifestyle change. I want to be healthy, and I want to live a long life.
Okay.
How do you do those things? By being healthy.
Okay.
How do you be healthy? Doing whatever you want.
Okay.
For me, it was different than I think for anyone else.
But how do you switch from this diet to actually making that decision where you had lasting change? Do you remember what the shift was?
Well, my shift was very dramatic. Welcome to my life. I was in the hospital, in ICU in Colorado, and I heard...
Why were you in Colorado?
Visiting friends.
Yeah.
And I heard...
Man of 10,000 friends.
10,426.
Okay.
Please get it right. And then I heard the doctor call my mom and say, you better get here quick. You have to say goodbye to your son.
Really?
And I remember thinking, am I going to freaking die because I decided to eat an extra Oreo? I remember thinking that. Like, I'm in ICU right now because that Oreo is that delicious, or that cheesecake, or that what, you know what I mean? Like, because I overindulged in that. Is it that delicious? And I remember thinking, it's not. Nothing. And my mom walked into the room. You would think she'd be like, oh, honey. No, not my mother. Look what you've done to yourself. Look at you. And the doctor was like, let's maybe, give him a little.
Let's tone it down a little.
And she's like, fine. You happy? I was like, oh, geez. But yeah, so that, for me, that was my moment of like, no, I'm not going to die over a damn Oreo.
Yeah. The hospitalization.
But
So
it's okay.
it's a lot of it for you has been portion control.
All portion control. For me, it's eating half of everything I've ever wanted. So if I wanted a Snickers bar, I ate half of it. I mean, the truth about losing weight is it's calories in, calories out. That's it. There's no like, if you want to never work out a day in your life, all you have to do is just eat less. That's it.
Because you're not like a huge fan of exercise.
I hike every morning. Kidding.
I tried to get you on a hike on this trip, and you were having nothing.
Well, I mean, come on. Let's just tell the audience how this went. Hey, Mark, you're about to look at this parking lot. You'll just miss it if you blink. And there's a trail that you just go into the darkness of that trail, and somehow
Into the
there
beauty.
will be no. It was
Into
dark.
the vast expanse
Oh
of
gosh.
desert wonder.
No.
You just passed. Not interested.
I would like to go into the parking lot, into the vastness of the spa. That would be like, that's my thing. I don't need the vastness.
Okay, you mentioned your mom. Your
Yes.
mom. We have to talk about how you grew up. We're covering great territory, but let's talk a
I
little.
grew up in a cage.
You did not grow up in a cage.
Okay.
Unless you consider Newport Beach a cage.
It was a cage.
In so possible ways. Your mom is pretty amazing. She's done amazing things. Talk a little bit about how you grew up.
So my family is everything to me. And from literally my first memory of my family has always been, we were close. There was love. There was, everything. There was a ton of heartache and trials and all of that. But we are a very fortunate family. I had an amazing family. I had one of the strongest mothers who literally, like, she is one of those women that there's a problem, she fixes it. Like, I've never seen someone like her. I mean, literally the other day, someone called her, my uncle called her, and needed to get sound and video equipment to Mexico. And they couldn't get it, like, over the borders. They didn't have something. Kimmy gets on the phone. All of a sudden, they have helicopters and flight, and they're like, who is this? It's just Kimmy. Just.
She just makes crap happen.
She makes stuff happen.
Okay,
I've never seen anything like it.
But that's fascinating. That's part of why she's been so successful.
Oh.
She just busts down roadblocks. She's
100%.
creative. She doesn't take no for an answer. What are the things that you've seen that make her so tenacious?
Well, she's the most competitive person in the world. So if you tell Kimmy, you can't do that, she's like, oh, just you wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Oh, I'm going to do it. So it's really funny because she, having her as a mother is quite intimidating, to be honest, because there's nothing she can't do.
Huh.
And she is one of those women that is like, yeah, she's just tenacious. You don't F with Kimmy. You don't. You just, everyone who's gone up against her loses. Like, and the truth is she's never going to allow for misjustice to happen to her family, or, she's just an incredible woman. And she comes from a father and a mother who, like, my grandmother just passed away, but my grandfather and my grandmother were just very humble, kind, beautiful people.
Also very successful.
Very successiful.
Yeah,
My
they were-
great-grandfather was a part of the studios and was the president of several studios of RKO.
several.
And Desi Lou. I think he was vice president of Desi Lou.
So they've been in show business for a
3
long,
generations.
long time.
Yeah,
And then your grandfather,
great-grandfather.
was the who was the one who managed the Lucille Ball show?
Great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was W. Argyle Nelson.
So you grew up knowing Lucille Ball.
Yeah, so I Love Lucy, it has been a huge legacy in our family. You go to any one of our houses and you'll see Lucy, or you'll see Desi, or you'll see a picture of Grandpa with, Fred Astaire or Ginger Rogers, or, Katharine Hepburn. She gave my grandfather a dog named Heppy. But these were all just stories that were just a part of,
Growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just Christmas. It was just
Yeah,
these are the people that are around.
It's just, and the truth is that my great grandfather, who I never met, he was. I mean, they called him Little Napoleon. I mean, he was that man ran that studio like you can't believe. I mean, and he was a tenacious guy. I mean, he was only about 5'5", 5'6". And actually, people tell me that I have a lot of him, and it's like the greatest blessing. But like when he first started working at the studios, the way he started was he would hop the fence, and the security guard would take him out. He hopped the fence, I think like 30 times, and finally they took him to the head of the studio, and they're like, "What do we do with him?" And my great grandfather was like, "Give me a job." And little did that guy know that 10 years later, my grandfather would take over his job.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Just tenacious little guy. Like he one time walked into the studio and I don't know what time it was. And I don't know the full story here. So we'll have to fact check this a little bit. But he walked in basically and he was the first one there. And so he locked the door and fired everyone.
Ooh.
He's like, I am not supposed to be the first one here. And obviously I don't think he actually fired everyone, but I think it was like that.
But a point was made.
Yeah. And, they called him Lord Nelson because he was the Lord of the area. I mean, he made that place into what it was.
Man.
And so my mother comes from that.
So I Love Lucy is one of his big legacies. Are there a couple of others that we might be familiar with?
Every show that RKO and Desilu did, the greatest story ever told, or Dick Van Dyke Show, Star Trek. Yeah, but I mean.
Okay, so then grandparents, the next generation, what were they doing?
Still in the studios. Grandma was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
Grandpa was still part of the studios.
Okay.
Working with Carol Burnett and James Rowland, and Grandpa lived in New York and traveled all over to do shows and stuff. But Grandpa did it because it was a job. My grandfather, he did it because it was a job. He knew it because of his father.
Yeah.
But my grandparents, we should do an entire episode on them. I have a friend who went and met my grandfather. And this is after my grandmother passed away.
So recently.
Recently. And this friend has literally said to me, I don't believe in God. And I don't believe in love. He sat down with my grandfather for 30 minutes and he walked out and he goes, it's the first time I ever saw God and believe in love.
Really? Why do you think?
Because my grandfather and my grandmother had the most beautiful relationship. They fell asleep every night holding hands.
Yeah.
They got together when they were 14 and 15. And so when you come from a legacy like that, like, it's the greatest gift you can ever have.
Yeah. That's an incredible legacy.
He's an incredible man.
You can tell.
I mean, the kindness and the sincerity from that man is just incredible. Like such a successful man, but nothing matters to him other than the success of being the patriarch of a family that loves each other. That's it. Not how much money, not how much, wealth or fame or anything. It's, do you love each other? Yes, that's like his success was that I got to hold your grandma's hand every night. What a great legacy.
Incredible legacy.
So
coming from that legacy, that incredible family, you also, not only did you have that example of love and love filling the home and the family gatherings and all of that, but what came along with that, with your grandfather and great-grandfather's success and your mother's, was a lot of financial resources. How did you guys navigate love being the main thing, but also we have this abundance?
Well, you don't think about it. It's not a part of your
It was just normal for you growing up.
Yeah, Mom always kept us, Mom worked hard, and we knew it. So we knew it didn't just come, right? It wasn't like, oh, this is family money. Mom worked her butt off for
And
what she had.
Your mom and dad weren't together when you were growing up.
No. So my real father divorced my mom when we were 4 years old, and basically said to her, "You will come crawling back to me one day." I'm like, "Huh, you don't say that to Kimmy."
Mm-mm.
She was like, "Nope, not going to happen." And so she created her business and her career and killed it. I mean, she was not going to, and then she married my stepfather, who I consider my father, the verb form of dad. The noun form was one person, the verb form was another. And so then Gary Applegate, here's this amazing, strong man, and he got diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So mom was the caregiver because everyone told her she couldn't do it. So guess what? She's going to do it. And, again, the power of the word. That's what it keeps coming back to.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. Oh, yes, I can, and you watch.
What did that look like? Give us a little bit, like day in the life when your mom is managing this big successful business that she runs and caring for her ailing husband with Alzheimer's, which is not easy. That decline is not easy.
Honestly, I have no idea how she did it. I mean, she had help in the sense of, family would go over there. She had help. But, I mean, she was 99% of the time. But I think that one of the things that mom did was that she really did take time off of working to be there for my dad. She really did decide that, she needed to spend that time with him. And she made his life wonderful. Like, he never wanted for anything. And every time there was a problem, mom would research the crap out of it. She wasn't ever going to go, "Oh, okay, this is, just a part of it." So, like, he never forgot our names. He never, when he eventually passed away, he died knowing our names. He died knowing who she was. So, again, it comes down to, I think, this family legacy of love and the power of the word. And I think that's why it's always been successful for us.
I want to just, if you're willing to, I want to tease out a little bit more that how you guys have been able to navigate, because it's not easy, keeping love the main thing and having the wealth, the connections, the whatever, because you grew up saying aunts and uncles and cousins were very famous, high-profile people that live in another echelon.
Who are now,
Who
weren't
are
back
now.
then necessarily. I mean, the Kardashians were not, it was Annie Chris and all that.
I've seen a photo of you as a little kid
Oh, yeah.
with Chris and Kim.
I mean, I still text Chris and call her Annie Chris.
Yeah.
But it was, they weren't the Kardashians back then.
Right.
I mean, they became the Kardashians.
Well, the whole O.J. Simpson trial.
Yeah.
And he was...
I mean, Nicole was not Nicole. She was, Auntie Nicole. She was not, I was not as close to her. I mean, I remember a week before she got murdered, seeing her at Starbucks and obviously walking up to her and how's everything going. And, my mom was, at their wedding and, we had Christmas with them and we had, so when that happened, it was like, oh my God, like I remember calling my Uncle Robert.
Yeah, Robert represented O.J., right?
Yeah, I remember calling my Uncle Robert going, "What's happening?" And then, on the stand when, or I don't remember if it was on the stand or what it was, but they asked, "Who's this Mark Kurian who called you?"
Oh, really?
Like, oh, just, my kid's friends. You know what I mean? Like it was, but yeah, that was a terrible time.
So growing up with that as the surrounding, that culture, those connections, those friends, people that you still call in and text, do you feel any level of burden or pressure that you have to be a certain level of success?
No.
Financial success, let's say?
No, I just mooch off them. No, okay. No, I mean, I think it motivates you.
Yeah.
it's fun when you see their houses and their cars and their, you're like, ooh, I can have that. You know what I mean? So that I think I guess there could be a burden, but instead you decide to let it motivate you or burden you, and motivating is just a lot more fun because then you could get there.
But it sounds like because of your family's legacy, you have a different vision of ultimate success. How would you define success?
Success is love of your family. I mean, literally, I don't know who, I think it's John Paul Getty, where, I think it was the movie about John Paul Getty with, I think, Mark Wahlberg, where this guy had all the money in the world, right? And they show the final scene of John Paul Getty dying. And he dies in this room with all of his artwork, but he's alone. Oh, God. That would be hell. I don't care how much you have. That would be hell. I would rather die in an apartment flooded with people that you love and love you than flooded with things that you purchased that, oh, God, that'd be awful. I mean, that would be awful.
Yeah.
That is my literal version of hell.
Being alone.
Oh, yeah. Being abandoned. Yep. Like, and that's the thing, like, knowing that you're loved allows you to do anything you want. There's no fear.
Perfect love drives out fear. So when
and everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of fear. It's like that analogy. I love this analogy. When you're surfing.
Have you surfed? I have surfed like 2 or 3 times. It didn't take.
So when you surf and there's a huge ass wave coming at you, your initial reaction to this wave, being fear, is to swim away from it.
Turn and run.
But what is the safest, best way to conquer that wave?
Go through it.
Go right through it, because then you come out the other side where the wave is now behind you.
Yeah.
What a beautiful imagery for fear.
Yeah.
You want to, fear, run the other way. But the best way to conquer fear is to go straight into it.
Give us a wave that you went through.
I'm going through one.
Tell us.
I will tell you. So I decided that 2020 is going to be my year of doing things afraid. So one of my best friends, Mishi Sherry, since I was 19 years old, would tell me, do it afraid, do it afraid, do it afraid.
I love Mishi, and that's great advice.
I love Mishi. You should get her on the show, because she, just one of the most wise people. She's like my Maya Angelou. Like, I adore Mishi. But so she'd always say, do it afraid, do it afraid, do it afraid. So I decided that 2020 is going to be my year of doing it afraid. So one thing that everyone's always told me I should do, which I was like, hell no, is perform and do a cabaret show.
You're doing a cabaret show.
I'm doing a cabaret show.
February.
14 songs at a little speakeasy.
In Hollywood.
Surrounded with hopefully people that love me and don't want the worst for me. So you are not invited.
Who's singing with you?
We don't know yet. I'm not saying that yet, because everyone that has said they could, it just depends, so I'm telling people it is me. Don't come for anyone else. Come to see me. It's going to be so scary.
Yeah.
Don't want to do it. But I think it's.
But you also really do.
No.
Come on.
No, no desire.
On. Just give us a little taste right now. Give us a little taste of the pipes, your vocal stylings.
Happy birthday. No, I'm kidding. Happy birthday, Mr. President. No, I love singing. I mean, one of my greatest passions is Broadway, is singing, is musicals. I love it. I sing throughout my life. I sing all day, every day, wherever I am.
I can testify.
You can absolutely testify. So I love it. My dream would be to be a Broadway star. Not going to happen. So one of the fun parts of having some influence and some is that you can do crazy shit, like say I'm going to do my own cabaret show and actually have it happen. Right.
So this place has 150 seats.
150 seats.
It will sell out. It will be packed. You will have raving fans cheering their face off for you. You will probably have a couple of famous cameos.
Yes.
People singing with you.
Caleb Anderson.
Including me, obviously.
Obviously.
And that's you going through the wave of
That's
fear.
me going through the wave. I mean, come on. Like, standing on a stage with nothing but, I mean, it's not even like you have background dancers. You know, it's not like I'm doing a show. It is you have a music stand, a microphone, and you.
I don't even think you should have a music stand.
No, I got to have my words up.
We're going to memorize this.
Oh, no. I've got to have
There's
my words
time.
up there. No, here's the thing. Part of cabaret, so one of the beauties of cabaret is that it is about having music and just having it be raw and like being able to go, stop, start again, forgot the words. You know, like that's part of it. It's going to be this experience of, hey guys, here's a visual of what it looks like to do things afraid, possibly fail miserably, and be still loved by everyone who's there. So I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be fun. But
it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be, I mean, I'm a nut job. Let's be honest.
You are a good time.
I'm Uncle Nut.
You're Uncle Nut to my kids. That's pretty funny.
I'm Uncle Nut to most kids.
Like, a lot of kids.
Yeah. I mean, because it fits me.
So we got the cabaret show. Mark, 5 years from now, if you had to just like put your life in a backpack and start over somewhere, what would you want to do, experience, try? What's another big wave after the cabaret show that you would want to swim through?
If I were to really answer this question, you know, one of the things, like, I stick around LA because that's where my family is.
Mm-hmm.
I will never leave my family. I left my family for a year when I moved to San Francisco, and it was the hardest year of my life. I hated it. But there is this desire in me to just go somewhere else. You know, like, move somewhere else. I have lived in Southern California most of my life.
Like another country? Like Argentina?
No.
You speak the Español.
Sí. Hablo español perfectamente, pero no.
Sí, muy bien.
Like Dallas. There's this...
Dallas.
I love Dallas. So I have very good friends in Dallas that there's just for some reason, there's a very big part of my heart is there. I love the big hair, the big women, the big nails. You know, I love that it's like Jesus up front, but close the doors and there is sin. Like, I love that. I love that. I want to kind of discover all of that. I moved to New York, moved somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, I think now that I've kind of, like, I love the magazine, and I would love to, you know, if someone told me that you'll be doing the magazine the rest of your life, I'd be great with that.
You'd be cool with that.
Totally. But if not, I would love to move.
Are you ever going to put yourself on the cover of the magazine?
Hell no.
Come on.
The only way that will ever happen is if I die and they do a memorial.
In memorandum.
In memorandum.
Maybe after the cabaret show.
Of the angel. Oh, wait, that's Dead Dogs.
It can go. It can work.
Yeah. No, I would never. I mean, it'd be easier. I understand why.
Than dealing with some of these.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I get it, but no.
Can you give us a nightmare story before we wrap up here? You don't have to say the person's name.
Okay, so we'll call this person Caleb. And
Thank you.
It's just easier. So, no, we had a full photo shoot where the person was an hour and a half late. Usually hair and makeup takes about 2 to 3 hours. It took her 6 hours.
Oof.
We did the full photo shoot. Got a call right when the photo shoot was done. Like, she had left. And she said, I don't want to do it anymore. I didn't feel like I had spirit in my eyes. So we were at the last week till we needed to go to print. And she just pulled out completely. So we had to get someone else for the cover within a day and a half.
Ooh, who came through for you?
Helen Hunt.
Helen Hunt. What a gal.
We've had some amazing covers. Like every person that's been on my cover has been someone that I absolutely adore. Like we've had Tom Hanks, we've had Nicole Kidman, we've had, Kristin Chenoweth, we've had Kris Jenner, Kimberly was our first cover. I've had some amazing covers. I mean, I honestly feel so freaking blessed. Why do I get to have this life? I don't know. And it's stressful. Don't get me wrong. It comes with stress. This is not like, oh, just do a little magazine, put pictures in a magazine. No. There is stress. But at the end of the day, every time I open up that box that has the magazines for the first time and I get to see the magazine in print, I go, why do I get to do this? Why do I get to sit with iconic people like Tommy Hilfiger and call him, on the phone to say, hey, how are you? Are you in town? Let's hang out. Like, that doesn't happen, and I get that. But dang it, am I blessed to be able to do that and to be able to connect with these people on a real, raw level.
Yeah. What's the next thing that you are going to speak into existence? What's the next thing that you are going to create by starting with your words and then a lot of hustle or whatever?
3 more inches to my height.
You want to grow 3 inches?
That'd be wonderful. I actually love being short. Is that weird?
No. Look at the way you're able to sit in a chair.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Put me in first class
and
have someone 6'8" walk right by me with me curled up in the chair.
They
like,
are
I hate
not
you.
happy with you. No.
Hate me.
No. I fall into that category. If I saw you sitting like that in a first class seat and I'm on my way to
Coach,
32B, I'm going to be so bummed.
And I will make sure you see me. Like, you'll walk by me. I'm like, yo, you're sitting. Hi! Sitting just like this. Don't need all that room. Don't need it.
What are you going to speak?
Speak into existence for me. That's a really good question. Just happiness.
For you? Starting with you?
Like, I am happy. But there's things I want in my life. Just a great amount of happiness would be ideal.
It's a daily fight for all of us.
Oh, 100%.
If I'm not speaking, training my own brain, cultivating every morning when I wake up, deciding what I'm going to focus on, I can slip into the opposite of happiness.
Isn't it funny that it's sometimes easier to slip into unhappiness than it is happiness?
It's way easier.
Why?
Because if we're not focused on gratitude, there's just brokenness and chaos and just discontent is the magnetic pole.
That's awful.
You have to work for it every dang day, I feel like. Some people maybe are just born with like chemical enhanced, experience of life. But most of us, I think, have to speak it, say it, pray it, meditate.
Your brother's one of those people, and it's freaking annoying.
You think so?
Aaron, every time I see him, nothing phases him.
He's so easy.
I literally want to slash his tires just to see. He'd be like, oh, it's okay, Mark. You needed to do that. That's good for your soul.
He'd be upset at you.
Would he?
Yeah.
Can we try it?
Maybe.
Okay. I really don't think he would be. I think he'd literally be like, let's talk through why this felt like something you needed to do. No, I did it just to piss you off. I love your brother.
He's a good man. Well, thank you for being on the show today, Mark. Thank you for...
I don't like when you say my name like that because it feels like you're about to yell at me.
Are you used to me saying Kurian?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard you say the word Mark. Even mark your calendars. I don't think you've ever used Mark. Except right now during Spirit Farm. It's just very hard for me to...
You are Mark Kurian, the one and only, and I'm glad that I was able to introduce you to more of my friends.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your life, your experience, the legacy of love in your family, and that we too can, with God, co-create by speaking things into being. Also, a lot of hustle. It has been a privilege, and we'll do this again in the future. Love you, buddy.
Love you.
Thanks.
Thank you.